Great. So, hi everybody, and welcome to another guest at home virtual meetup. Today with us we have our very good friend Jay Mexis. Jay is an award-winning architect and one of the leading social innovators in Greece. He'll be talking to us today about one of his latest projects, Odyssea, the journey from unemployment to employability. Jay, we had the opportunity to meet a couple of years ago when you were doing your project with LabVest during the refugee crisis. Amazing initiative. I got the opportunity to meet you in person and your activities then. And you're one of those people who just can't stand still and stop. And you've been growing ever since. We've also had the opportunity to meet you in your one of your latest spaces, Fab Lab, for social innovation. And you'll be talking to us. I've been following a bit of your latest project during COVID, which a lot of people, during COVID, it was a difficult time, a decisive time. But you just went there and created and built it, and you got a new space up and running. So tell us a little bit more about that. Again, welcome. It's great to have you on board with us.
No, thanks for inviting us. Nice to be here and nice to share all our latest and also share it with a wider audience. So I'm very honored. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Great. So I was thinking, since we have also a wider audience today, maybe take a step back before sharing the latest things, right? And maybe starting with, just a personal story that in some ways ignited and triggered, let's say, a lot of these initiatives and that got happened under this umbrella of Odyssey, but have grown. But it's as most things in life, I think there is some kind of special moments that are kind of important milestones, and they shift a little bit perspective, and in some ways act as a personal trigger that then welcomes more people, and it turns into something, right? So for me, that was 2015, and being in a sailing boat just off shore of Lesbos Island. And I had been 3 days on a boat between the shores of Greece and Turkey, waiting for a dear friend to do the journey and accompany him. So that friend is Asem Hasna, and I will tell you a few words about Asem. So I happened to get introduced to Asem when I was in 2014 doing my master's degree, which was about the role of architecture in displaced groups and how it can provide innovative solutions for refugee camps and slums. So I was in Zaatari. So I don't know if you remember Zaatari. It's one of the largest Syrian refugee camps in the world, 120,000 people, third largest city actually in Jordan. And it's huge. I mean, it has 3,000 shops these days, an economy of 50 million per month. And, just over there, we had set up a kind of makeshift prosthetics lab with refugee openwear. And Asem Hasna was this incredible individual that was studying maths in Syria, and then in his free time was driving an ambulance. So Asem, one of his daily routine days of driving an ambulance, he got bombed and he lost his leg. So he was thrown into a van and went over to Zaatari, where we met. And despite this very traumatic thing happening to him, when he saw our 3D printers, he immediately started learning how to use them. So, fast forward 3 days, and he had already learned how to use a 3D printer. Fast forward 7 days, and he had printed a prosthetic limb, part of all of the process for his leg. And seeing this incredible energy to learn and to use technology as an empowering force was a huge motivation for him. So in 2016, so he helped a lot because I entered a lot of this humanitarian work through architecture by designing the first Fab Lab for social innovation in a refugee camp in Jordan, in Zaatari actually. And that's where we met him, and he consulted us a lot on how to design, including Syrian architecture and other things. And when he wanted to actually do the trip to Germany, I said that we need to be there. So a group of friends supported this journey, and we were waiting for him on the boat. So it was like really like 1, 2 o'clock in the night, very kind of cold night, and we're waiting for him to appear in the blackness of the sea. And it was one of the most strongest and adrenaline-infused experiences, waiting your friend, which didn't know how to swim, to cross, and actually seeing him was like something that there's a few words to describe. And there was a lot of drama, but in the end, the boat broke down. We had to pull it, but anyway, he managed to land, and there were a lot of tears. And we accompanied him all the way to Germany. And after a while, he managed actually to stand on his own feet. He was able to do a TEDx talk in Berlin. He met Angela Merkel and Facebook Sherry, and he became like a role model. He got hired by Cisco actually, teaching AI, and you just saw this incredible upwards path through the transformative energy of technology and of education in the right minds. And in some ways, this really changed for me the understanding of how these spaces can act as huge boosts for talented people. And that's how that infused of us wanting also to set up the dream of wanting to set up a similar space in Athens. And I think that's where we met, right, Maria, around 2017, when we were preparing for the inauguration of the first Fab Lab for Social Innovation in Athens. And then ASEM actually flew back from Germany to come for our inauguration in June 6th. So in some way, this was a very important milestone in the journey, not only because of ASEM, but also because I was able to witness the situation with the livelihood in the islands and started thinking about upcycling and other social enterprises. And, that was the ignition of a few things. So, the journey with the Fab Lab for Social Innovation, and there was a lot of lessons there. We more than 2.5, 3 years have passed actually doing a lot of educational courses, and we have also understood that part of these lessons is that not everyone is ASEM, and that's why it's very important to diversify the different types of educations that you have, but it's very important to provide realistic hope for people of integrating them in the Greek labor market. And that doesn't refer only to refugees, but also to Greeks, vulnerable Greeks that hit by the crisis have lost their job. How do they reskill? How do they upskill all their knowledge? And how do they become competitive in a market that is changing a lot? Not only because of this most recent change of coronavirus, but also because of automation and all the transformative energies that are happening in work. So in the world of work. So this is somehow how this journey has been kind of unfolding for us. Maybe, I don't know, you would like to learn a little bit more also about what we have been doing in COVID and all the rest.
Yeah, so tell us a little about how Odyssey Academy works and how somebody can find out more or can sign up. What kind of courses you have been running so far?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Maybe I can also share screen, right? So that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Great. So is this working?
Yeah.
Perfect. So actually, Odyssey was founded in 2016, and it is composed by a dynamic group of people, very interdisciplinary, and we prioritize the integration of vulnerable people through the integration of through training and connecting them to the world of work. So the team is actually about 10 people and about double amount of tutors, about 20 tutors. That's the size that we are now. So 10 full-time plus another 15 to 20 part-time people. So the backbone of all the things that we are doing, be that Astrolab and the Fab Lab for Social Innovation, be that the Academy or the Incubation program, and we'll share and clarify these three different programs. The backbone is about providing access to innovation and technology, about building self-reliance, and in that process, really accelerating more inclusive societies. And this means really harnessing the power of technology and being able to provide opportunities for some people that they weren't able to access it, either because of their economic background or because of the ignorance of this opportunity. And creating more inclusive societies has to do with bridging both guest and host communities and seeing the opportunity in their symbiosis. So we do that by bridging global and local resources. The actual main program of vocational education and entrepreneurship for and with excluded communities. So as I was discussing, there are three main programs. The main one being the Academy. So the Academy actually has both hard skill training and soft skill, and there's a separate employability department. So what we have, part of the, the thing I was telling you, that these last years have been like a true roller coaster and a really a lot of lessons learned in all this process of education, because our understanding of the needs of the people has changed. We have come, it's not possible to offer something that is targeted and useful to someone without first not understanding exactly their needs and being close to them. So for example, that we have understood that except of the hard skill training that has to do with the needs of the labor market, the soft skills are equally important in that process. So that's why we always agglomerate short-term trainings to match, let's say, their difficulties in their daily life. So we have trainings that span minimally 1 to 1.5 months, all the way to 6 months. But let's say the average about 2 to 3 months. We try to keep them as short as possible, intensive and concise, and all hands-on learning. We want them not to learn theoretically things. We want to provide the opportunity for them to be interactive, to be directly hands-on, so that knowledge is directly applicable to real life. We don't want to give them false hope. And I think this is one of the biggest challenges, that when someone knocks your door and he says, I'm looking for a job, it's very important to lay out the roadmap leading to that. So hard skill for us is the core, but if it's not combined with the soft skill training, which would mean anything from communication skills, CV preparation, all the way to learning how to be in an interview, learning, unlocking your confidence again, because a lot of people suffer also from PTSD. So we have special courses like Healing Through Making, and that's, for example, part of the Makerspace program. So all of these programs first are very interrelated. Moving to the incubation, this is something that in some ways is a standalone program as well, because what we realized that, for example, in the academy, people usually end up being employed directly in the labor market. But some people had innate entrepreneurial skills. I mean, they already run their businesses back home, or there were Greeks that had businesses before the crisis and then they were lost. So they really didn't feel they felt misplaced just going as an employee, and they had some really interesting ideas. So in this situation, we helped them incubate their companies, but we're doing it in a very different way. We're not working on the typical, let's say, startup model, but it's focused on SMEs, family companies, the backbone really of the Greek economy. You know that more than 97% of all Greek companies have 3 people or less. So, we want to give them, again, something realistic there. And we're also partnering for that part of the program, the incubation, with Alba. So we've formed a partnership. There's also people there with a lot of expertise and long-standing experience, like Alexis Cosmelis and other people. So we're initiating this partnership in order to provide them with the right type of knowledge according to their needs, and we're kind of joining forces with our understanding of their needs on that aspect. The makerspace is really, in some ways, the igniting force of all of these things, or the binding force. And it also has to do with integrating other target groups. For example, we do STEM education, where we collaborate with some of the best STEM educators, which come and help other unaccompanied minors. So we work with a lot of the shelters of unaccompanied minors and help them be integrated in these courses. So mostly there we're talking about children between 11, 12 years old, all the way to 17. We collaborate also with the National Technical University of Athens and other universities in R&D projects, and providing also, again, access to the lab for the students to, create their more innovative ideas, to prototype, test. And also, one of the most important things that sometimes we feel that is missing from the universities is actually create teams that then move into a company, move into an initiative. We feel that this is the focus of Odyssey and of the makerspace in general. It is, let's say, if, for example, we have on the one side the university and the other the labor market, we feel that there is a big gap that we're trying to bridge. And be that, for example, relevant skills in order to be employable, either if you're reskilling or if you want to move out of limbo and be integrated. If you're in a university student, again, you might not have the opportunity to really try, test things and create teams, find like-minded people. Or if you want to set up your company, this would be the place to do. And all of these programs are provided for free. So this is the idea behind them, that people who don't have necessarily the resources to pay for such services are able to find
Joanna, I just muted you.
So, I would like to give a little bit of numbers so that you understand what has been happening. So, for example, in 2019, we trained more than 234 people. So about 166 in hard skills and 65 in soft skills. And actually, 2019 was the most successful year in relation to our key KPI, which is absorption of people, of our graduates in the labor market. So more than 46 people actually entered the labor market. And, we're not talking, what we try to do in our process is that the process is very data driven. So people, when they come, as I said, they knock the door and they say, look, I'm looking for a job. The first thing that we say is, okay, let's first understand who you are, as I said. So we do a skill assessment. We try to understand what is their background, what are their hard skills, the soft skills, verify them. And then they move into info days, where the tutor comes and presents what are they going to learn? What is the employability reality of this specific training that they feel close to? We do then focus groups. We decide which people are applicable, because we receive nearly 5 times more applications than we have funds to support people to enter in trainings. So this means that we have to filter people and see who is more applicable and will use best this chance. And once they enter the training, we also monitor how they develop by specific tests and see how they actually improve their skills during the test. And after they finish, they move into the soft skill training and the livelihood department that helps them move into the labor market, either through exclusive agreements that we may have with companies, or by just helping them access and through specific platforms that we do. We also have created in all of this system, we're launching a new platform in September that is going to be all AI based, and it's going to be automated as a process. And all our information will also be live and transparent in all of these stages that I mentioned. It's also going to be monitoring all the labor market with bots and seeing what are the opportunities, and give direct recommendations to our people, and also recommendations based on their skill assessment, exactly what type of trainings they can do. So for us, being data-driven as an organization is actually a huge, crucial element of how we want to operate in this work. So moving in 2020, we're actually doubling the number of people that we're training. As you can see, Academy holds a majority of the people. So more than 390 people are actually being trained as we speak. We have already trained about half of them. And you can see the amount in incubation and the maker space. So it's going to be about 500 people. And for every let's say euro that was given as a donation, we generated 2.9, and that's moving towards 3.64. That's our estimation for 2020 in funds returned back in the Greek economy through the employability of the people, through the creation of salaries for them also being able to consume again and back in the Greek economy. So who are our people? The majority are asylum seekers, refugees, and Greek citizens are about 30%. We're trying very hard to increase the participation of Greek citizens and move them up to 50%. It's being a challenge, I have to admit, Maria, that finding Greek people is not the easiest thing as it sounds, because many of them don't often belong to organizations and more informal structures. So we are being very kind of inventive of how exactly to create this income and increase their participation. But that said, we have some very good partnerships now that are getting formed that will, I think, boost in that direction. We're also trying to increase the percentage of women overall. I think it's about 20 to 30%. We want to bring that up again. So that's another internal challenge. But having good partnerships either with organizations like Melissa Network or the OTIMA and other people who specialize in women, they're focused in supporting women, is something that is proving very helpful in this direction, actually. So, as I mentioned, we work with a lot of different NGOs, and this helps massively in actually being able to provide these kind of services to a wider audience and also improve the quality of these offerings, because the people that send their own beneficiaries are not for us just for example reference. They are partners, so they really help in their integrational journey. Mm-hmm. A new partnership is also with Kefeam. So we're also trying, we set up actually a small woodworking lab in the prison in Korydallos, and we're also doing another program here for ex-addicts called Healing Through Making, helping them into the integration journey. And it's all about making things, either through digital fabrication technology like laser cutted 3D printers, but also we have a new CNC that we're very happy about. So they also learn how to actually create pieces of furniture. And we're doing just, I think, these days is getting cut and assembled a big kind of parametric bench that is going to go towards the Ministry of Justice, and we're very excited about that. But it's also very important about where our trainees enter, and we are building a lot this network of companies that actually help absorb, and sometimes also recruiting agents like Workathlon have helped a lot in being this bridge in that direction. I mentioned a few things about Alba. This is an important slide because none of this would have been possible if we didn't have some people really believing the vision that we presented and supporting it. So, kudos to NextFab Foundation that has been there from day one in all the things that we've been doing. Very close collaboration, not only as a funding, but also as a part of our advisory board, consulting us and giving us direction in a lot of these decisions. We work a lot also with the European Commission in the sense of a lot of Erasmus, a lot of Horizon 2020 programs that help us also move forward the research needed in kind of spearheading some of these sectors. And now we're also worked with TIMA, who supported us a lot in the COVID times and was very pivotal in actually helping us to fabricate the 50,000 face shields for the Ministry of Health. So the last years we have raised about 1.2 and support all the growing needs of all our offerings. I think we talked a little bit about this. We can move maybe, but before moving a little bit on the new training center, what do you say about contextualizing some of these things in COVID times a little bit? How are we doing with time?
We're doing fine. We have time, Jay, so
Perfect.
take your time. We're good. I'm sure we'll have lots of interesting questions. It's a great presentation. Awesome project.
So, you know, 2020, February craziness hit, and as you well said, like I'm not the type of person that likes to sit and watch everything from their sofa. So we were very eager to see how we can actually utilize the space and just support. And again, Next Fab Foundation was for us a very important partner in this case as well to help us of how we can be useful in this crisis, because they had actually created an initiative in Philadelphia called Cover Aid Philly, and they joined forces with all the maker spaces, and they started fabricating 3D printing mostly, but also fabricating face shields and PPEs. All of us know very well what happened, in the context of globalization. Once lockdown happened, our supply chains were all completely hit. And I think that rings a lot of interesting kind of notes about how dependent we were to the supply chains and the flow, and we weren't really prepared for that. In some ways, it also was a very good example of how maker spaces, which are, that's the idea of the fourth industrial revolution, that you can actually fabricate anything. And that's the concept from using digital fabrication technology, became really evidence that they have actually a very important role to play in this first response when the supply chains are cut. How do you create solutions for a huge shortage that was the PPEs, the personal protective equipment? And they gave us a lot of guidance with open source face shields, open source masks, and other objects. So very quickly, we were, all our 3D printers were on fire, as a lot of all the 3D printers in Greece. There was some amazing efforts that were done in that direction by a few of the maker spaces joining forces all together. And so inspired by all of these incredible movements, we tried to understand what were the needs of the Ministry of Health. So at that point, Tima Foundation came back to us and said they have contacted the ministry, and they have identified this big need of face shields for the medical doctors and staff in general. So they gave us 10 days. Of course, the Ministry of Health asked us to raise the money, but of course, that's where Tima joined forces, and it was very fortunate to have been able to collaborate with them in such short notice. And we had literally 10 days to make those face shields. So it was a crazy challenge that, we just wouldn't be able to do it through 3D printing in that amount of scale and speed. So what we use is the 3D design of the face shield and the created molds using injection molding. So we worked also with the industry to scale up production, create casts, and then injection molded them, which means that we poured plastic in the casts, and very quickly we're able to actually produce about 1,500 facials each day. I think it was like 2 every 10 seconds or something like that. But we also needed to assemble them. So we hired about 25 Syrian refugees from the Greek Forum of Refugees, Syrian refugees, and we just joined forces. So we were able to hire them to assemble all the products. So a lot of moving pieces came together in order for that to happen, and it was anything but relaxing, let's say, the COVID times for us, but really satisfactory of the end result. I think in some ways it really highlighted a lot of of the role of such spaces, not only to be the first responders, let's say, because I think afterwards, sometime the traditional industry is able to come and get back to support production, but also I think as an amazing kind of movement of people joining forces and thinking about solutions and about being activated citizen. And for me, this was personally the most satisfactory thing, that I actually felt that I could contribute to this problem and not just stand, behind. And I think a lot of people felt, that was one of the biggest kind of gains from this experience. So let me check on time and see how we're doing. I think we have another 5 to 7 minutes. I want to don't take too much of your time. I would like to close a little bit about this new training center that we are establishing. And I know it's news for you, so very excited to show you what's going on. So, the way we worked is that we were based here in Larsa Station in this neoclassical building that we renovated, and we created the Fab Lab. But, we weren't fitting anymore, like 340 people just didn't fit. So, and we also didn't have we do a lot of different trainings, which I will show you a little bit more about. And we just didn't have the space and the facilities. So what we started doing is hiring different space around the city and moving the people to do those different locations, having our tutors and educators there. But it was a logistical challenge. We managed it, but I didn't think it was the ideal solution. So we said, hey, we need to just bring everything together in one place. We needed, and it was this idea, remember, of a large place that we have been talking for a lot of years. And I was imagining it like a huge, let's say, Fab Lab. But then seeing the impacts, that happened through Academy, I thought it should be a hybrid of the two, and really create a space where they can physically learn all these different things. And so that's what we actually looked for. And we found this really nice industrial place in Randy. So, just as you go down to Pireo Street, about the height of where the Jumbo and Leroy's are, you just turn, and there's this nice pedestrian street there in Mandilara. And we found this industrial building and said, listen, that's perfect. Let's renovate it and bring all of these pieces together. So we self-invested in this in the hopes of, afterwards being able to attract support for more of our trainings. But I think something exciting is actually built there. So it is about 600 square meters, but it has another 600 square meters of external spaces. So it's like really massive. It's able to fully train more than 1,000 people every year. So this means that it has like 3 classrooms and massive training spaces spread around, and it can help with various different training courses per year. What we're very proud of is that this center is actually going to be certified by the Lifelong Learning certificate. So it's going to be actually διαβίου μάθησης επίπεδο 2, so like the ultimate level of with including disabled access and all the necessary requirements for having it the level 2 of lifelong learning, and all the teachers are also certified, of course. And the pandemic design considerations have to be there. So the way we're working also with the pandemic is that we have a hybrid model of education. We combine both physical and online things. We're not only online because we think it's really difficult, especially with vulnerable groups, not to have the reference of the tutor. I think the tutor is very pivotal in their integrational journey, to give them a lot of structure and a lot of guidance. And I feel it's a beautiful thing to miss, and dropout rates increase usually from online things. So I think, but having a hybrid model, I think, is really perfect in this case. So all our ventilation systems but even the classrooms, it all has to be like 1.5 meters distance. So, we had to be very creative about how to actually make this work, but being a large space helped. So this is the one in Larsa Station, which you already know, and our training space so far. And this is the new one. So you enter, and these are renders because it's just getting finalized. Most, like 95% of what you see has already been built. So you enter, and this is a kind of opening area. The kitchen is already there. The kitchen is a large industrial kitchen. It has gas connected, HASP certified, has huge fridges and a lot of stoves, and has all the kind of necessary things for them to be trained directly on the needs of the industry. And it's exactly how a big professional kitchen would be. It has all the right tools, all the right equipment, so they learn how to work not only in relation to the type of equipment and food, but also in relation to the hygiene standards of Greek restaurants, about the Greek dishes and the Greek cuisine. And it's actually really nicely set up. Hospitality, this is a booming industry and we really want, okay, COVID has been a big hit again, but it's Greece and it's going to hopefully stand on its feet again. So, it's very important for us to we created a suite of a hotel with its bathroom, with all its facilities for them to actually learn on site exactly how they would be working as. Hospitality, we don't not only do the things to do with the room, but we also do booking systems, programs, managing reception, and other things to do with the whole hospitality sector. So this is the more construction based. We have a big plumbing and it's like a live one-to-one actual bathroom. And it's not just one, it's like 2 or 3 of them, which different layouts. So here it's very nice because they learn different technologies, different setups. And then they have this huge kind of big tables where they actually practice by connecting pipes and they learn exactly the skills needed. So it has showers, it has washing machines, it has boilers, anything that they would actually need. And these things are set up by the best professors from the line of work that come to us and say, listen, if you teach them these things, I would hire them and I know what the needs are. So we really tailor it backwards to the needs of the market. The same goes with electronics. This is huge wall that actually is more nice than it looks in the render, which I was hoping for. And here they train in their traditional electronics, but they also, Maria, learn about smart houses. We have a sector that is only going to do with smart houses, a large system integration of your water, your plumbing. So they not only learn the traditional things that makes them employable, but they also learn like a competitive advantage in the field, which for us is super exciting. And we work, for example, now we have a meeting with Bosch. We have these leading companies which directly tell us what are the needs in the market, which are the things that are most competitive. We bring their systems and thus knowing the exact systems that they're going to work on, it just creates a beautiful workflow. So we really cut the 6-month training period that usually an assistant would need to enter the job market. The same goes with the woodworking. We have this huge wood workshop. It's about 80 square meters. We have a big CNC 2x3 meters where they learn the traditional woodworking, but they also learn digital fabrication, how they can speed up their production and things like that. There's a barista bartendering, which is also ready. And then there's the classrooms, again, in different floors. So as I said, the training programs move from the academy, the employability, and the entrepreneurship. There are 3 main categories. I promised you the different training. So we have the HORECA, which have to do with hotel employee, line cooking, barista, and all the rest. The other is the MEP, which stands for mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and have to do mostly with the construction industry. And then the tech industry is also very important, where we do the programming, IT networks technician, social media marketing. Mm-hmm. And then, livelihood is a huge department for us that is really, really important. I told you a little bit about the program, but for us, it doesn't also stop when they find their jobs. What we try to do is really monitor their progress after they find a job. Did they manage to keep the job? What was the quality of the employment? I definitely don't think that we should just tick the box of our KPI, oh, they found a job. We really try to track, what was the quality, how related was the job to the training, and how also they progressed in it. Because, for someone, even a Greek that, for example, was unemployed for like 4 or 5 years and then entering a company in a very competitive environment, he needs additional support many times. And we have seen, for example, cases like really talented people that are driven, but then because of this gap of experience and of being in these rhythms, they just end up feeling overwhelmed. So I feel that, we shouldn't stop to where they find the job, which we actually have a process where we monitor all the people for 1 year. So every 2 or 3 months, we call them, we meet with them and see how they're progressing. And, there's some really beautiful stories. There was this incredible woman, from Senegal where, she was doing for 8 years in Greece jobs of like cleaning and babysitting. That was it. And then she came to us and said, oh, wow, I can do hotel and I can learn about, in the hospitality sector. And, she finished her training, 1 week after that, she was able to land a job in Kimolos Island, which I'm going to visit in a few days, actually. And you know, the owners called us and they were so like thrilled about, like, how does she know all these things? And I was like, it's just like 2 months. Like, how is you know, it's not the biggest course. And they're like, no, it's perfect for us. She's part of our family now. You know, she's going to stay with us. And you know, and you know, when she came back to Athens to greet us, you know, what she you know, thanked for was not that she found a job, but I think, and that was even more value for me. She said, you know, like, I know I have options in life now, and it's not about just finding a job. It's about that I know that I can stand on my own feet, and you know, I can do things that I never imagined I could do, and that gives all the reward in all of this type of work that we do. So I would like to close here, not to take too much of your time. I promised 30 minutes, so we're already 35. But I think with that, you know, this is an ongoing journey. I'm very fortunate to be part of this personal growth also for me. We want to include more and more people in all of this journey. And we're very happy and very grateful for all the people, partners, or people who supported this vision, because without them, you know, without creating these beautiful synergies, none of this would be possible. So yes, that's where we are.
Awesome presentation and great project, Jay. Thank you so much for that. We're up for questions. So anyone following us here on Zooms, you can either turn your camera or mic on, or just lift your hand so we know you want your turn. And for everyone watching us on Facebook, so we have Sotiris Koutsourades. Great job, Odyssea. We can't wait for the new training center. So when is the new training center open and running? How do people sign up? Where do they sign up? That would be my question.
Yeah. So first, it's open to all people who want, you know, to really reskill. It's open to all people who want to see themselves differently and really learn. And we are opening in September. Hopefully, I think the actual official launch will be, and the party is going to be like October, but we will be open from September for registrations and anybody can do that either through our Facebook, in Odyssea, or just simply by coming to our current headquarters in Karditsis 8 in Larissa Station, just off the metro. Come meet us, learn about these programs, and be part of them. Thank you, Sotiris, for your kind words as well.
And how can somebody support or donate to the program?
Can support?
Yeah, either support. I mean, are you still looking for volunteers? Do you still need trainees?
Yeah.
You need.
So I think, you know, one level of support is by anybody being a volunteer and helping people in their integration journey. They could either work with them as mentors or as supporting them with in their learning process. We're also looking to hire very talented teachers that have their understanding of their needs and also are very good at what they do and are connected with the labor market, so they can provide exactly what is needed for them to do and bridge them with their next step. And of course, you know, companies, please learn about the training center, see how we can help you by giving you talented people according to your needs. And if you feel like supporting some of the educational services and offerings, that would be amazing, because, you know, as I said, we get so many more applications than we can actually support. This year we're going to do 500, but, you know, it's probably like triple that number that it knocks our door. So any more help to do more, let's say, lessons is amazing. But also, I think, you know, just be part of this journey and share with us what are the needs, so we can better also support you in this journey as well.
My next question that you answered were share with us some success stories, and I really like the fact that you shared a young gentleman and a young lady, keeping a balance. It's very important, and I really hope you get to that aim that you mentioned earlier on, that you want to attract, considering the candidates, and I guess also your team, that you want a good balance of both male and female participants. It's
absolutely. Absolutely. I would show you the video of her speaking instead of me talking another time, but I'm not sure if it's going to work through the camera. But I think this for us is our reward, and empowering women is something that we're very passionate about, and including them more and more in our offerings. And I think it's a beautiful opportunity for them also to rediscover their incredible strengths, and for them to find very strong roles in our society. So. Please knock on our door. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. I'm not sure, does anyone here on have any questions they would like to share? If you want, you can just drop the question on chat if you don't want to turn your mic and camera on. We usually try and get people to turn it on to make the conversation a lot more engaging, but it's really up to you. So Jay, I guess you're going to close, shut down. You mentioned you got another crazy week ahead, and then you're going to shut down a bit, get your recharge mode
Exactly.
on back as of September.
Yeah, absolutely. And something I didn't mention is that, we're scaling up in other parts of the world, these three programs. We're scaling up mostly in developing countries, and we do that in partnership with Next Step Foundation. So, we already have done that in Jordan. We're working and it's moving on in Nigeria. You met some of the people there from the Nigerian government supporting them. And recently, this January and December of 2019, we were in Dhaka in Bangladesh, where we're working with BRAC, who is one of the biggest NGO in the world, and the Bangladeshi government, which really want to create more people in the tech sector, especially in IoT. So we're creating spaces where the new generation can really get trained in these new technologies. So we're trying to scale a lot of these good practices, and also learn a lot in the process, because believe it or not, some people, especially for example BRAC, does some incredible work. BRAC is supporting. They have more than 150,000 employees in Bangladesh, and they're supporting 60 million people. I mean, it's insane the work they do, and a lot of beautiful lessons for us as well.
Mm-hmm. Have you, I'm sure you know of social hackers with Admianos.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, actually, we worked with them for our programming, so we collaborated, and they took over the training. So we had a very nice collaboration with them, and it's a beautiful overlap. And I think that this is the kind of synergies that we're looking for as we scale our offerings.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And let me check what's happening. Did you manage to share the video? You're sharing it later. I'm also keeping a lookout for any questions on Facebook Live. So
Sure.
I mean, tell us a couple of the challenges, and will it be a challenge for you for the program if we have further restrictions with COVID in September, October, or will you be taking some of the program virtually? What are your thoughts there? I mean, we need to be ready for everything.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we know that this thing is not gone. Good thing that there are some incredible developments in the vaccine section that we've been hearing. But we are definitely strapped up for the everything that is going to come. So as I was mentioning, we have a hybrid system where we combine online material as well as physical interactions, and even the physical, as we speak, always happen, with the right kind of framework. Just to mention, for example, that lady, I forgot to mention that the lady that found the job in Kimolos Island, right? She did 80 or 70 to 80% of her course online, and that is even more impressive, in hospitality sector. So we did this transition because of the COVID. To be honest with you, we turned a lot of our trainings online because we really didn't want to lose the momentum of the people participating. And we initially thought, oh, it's going to be a complete disaster. We were ready for the worst. But actually, people did not, from their 4G cameras and their little smartphones, they were participating, and that that blew us away, because we just didn't expect that to happen, and it was so surprising. They came back, they completed their trainings, they didn't have dropouts. We struggled with dropouts, so we're very happy that our all yearly average is less than 15% now, and that's reducing. I mean, 2020 in coronavirus, we only had dropout rate of like 3%, which is insane. And already our graduates, 30% of our graduates in the Corona times have found jobs. I mean, okay, it's less than 46, but we still have a bit of time left in 2020, and 30 is not bad for Corona times in Greece. So we're actually quite happy. And I think, evidence of some of this work felt really satisfactory for us when we got this year the gold medal in the Education Awards for 2020 in the sector of employability and lifelong learning. And that was very unexpected because, we were competing with like huge institutions from the private sector, and we still managed to get the gold medal. So that was very like unexpected. I just had written the proposal and sent it, and I thought, okay, that's going to be definitely a no-no. And then, wow, gold medal. That's beautiful. So it keeps you going, keeps you going.
Congrats. I mean, we've known you a couple of years, and your work is amazing. Your initiatives are amazing. I mean, I know that you love to travel, and wherever there's a crisis, you seek for an opportunity, and that shows. And for sure, the impact is the people that you get to approach, to make an impact with, and the feedback you get from them. And once they settle, that alone is a great impact and a great reward on yourself.
Absolutely. And, the way we're doing our work, we're open sourcing a lot of it, even now we're creating this booklet about all the procedures that we're doing, that because I think the juice is in the procedures really of how to do it. And we are going to like publish a book and just open it over there. And, I have the tendency to do that because I looked up to you when, I was opening up in 2017. You came, you and Stavros came with open arms, and, they said, hey, how can we help? And this kind of attitude, becomes very kind of, becomes the good virus that spreads. And I think this kind of practices is really what we feel is lacking a lot in the humanitarian sector. Let's create more synergies. Let's join forces and bridge, both local and global resources in this, and go beyond, our kind of self-centered priorities and KPIs. Because in joining forces, we actually maximize everything. And receiving that from Athens Cube and people that you're affiliated, really helped us also grow and scale some of these things. So we're very appreciative of that as well.
It's been a pleasure. I mean, the one thing I can say that COVID has brought globally, it has brought us closer together. I mean, we had that time to sit and reflect, and it has brought us closer together this way too, virtually. The fact that with the push of a button, we can connect, we can learn, we can talk to anyone wherever they are in the globe. But we've also, as you mentioned, we've also become more humanitarian. Of course, it's also very much in the Greek culture. The Greeks are very competitive when it comes to the professional side of things, but at the same time, they're very open-armed and open-handed in times of difficulty and crisis. And in times of difficulties and crises is the times when we need to come closer together, and we need to bring the resource to the table and see how we can work on that. I mean, what are your thoughts of this crisis, and what are a couple of the benefits that you have seen, and a couple of success stories that you see or foresee happening within the next couple of months or years after this crisis?
I mean, the crisis, we don't need to sugarcoat it. It's going to be like, it's going to be a huge job catastrophe. It's going to be like the predictions are depressing, 1.25 billion workers for a major hit from the coronavirus. We hear about, that is, I think, like 38 of the workforce globally. I mean, the whole situation is changing, but, that's, I think, still one side of the coin. Like when you flip it, you really see also that, it's a beautiful opportunity for reskilling. It's a beautiful opportunity to change the paradigm of doing work. For example, we have cut all the unnecessary, one-to-one meetings. We have speed, like I personally have, and that is such a beautiful acceleration of getting shit done. And sorry for saying it, but that is so important in the workflow. it has been able to highlight how resilient people are, and and how important it is to have resilient solutions, which focus on synergies, which focus on local knowledge and innovation. It has really brought innovation in the forefront again, but not from the typical, let's say, monopolistic understanding of it, but more with, I think, with a group of people joining forces to commonly tackle solutions. I think one of the most beautiful outcomes is actually being reactivated. I think being active either as a citizen, which runs very back in the ancient Greek culture, which was for us the first and foremost important quality of any Greek, is to be activated towards the common good. And that's where the idiot actually comes from, the one that was not a part of the common. And I think this reactivation is going to be the starting point of a lot of good things that is going to come out. And I think that through difficulties as a nation we learn. I hope, yes, we have a plethora of crises the last years. I don't think we need more. I think we need to change mentalities. And I think for us, I came a little bit before the refugee crisis. I came about 1-2 years before back to Greece, because we envisioned and wanted to fight for this change of mentalities in Greece. And this is a roller coaster. You come strong, then you get so many slaps that you fall down, and then you stand up again and you get more slaps. Yeah. But I think that this is the key, that if we change these old mentalities, I think that Greece is going to be such a positive place to be, to try new things. And, we do have such a good background education-wise. We just have to create more relevant offerings, be that a business, be that an idea, be that a synergy, or be more active citizens. So I think that is where it all comes down to.
Yeah, I mean, we already see big corporates. They have their eye on Greece.
Yeah,
not only on Athens but on Greece. I mean, Greece has amazing talent, and we just need to now try and find a way of all the brain drain to attract them back to Greece. I mean.
Yeah, and and I think they should capitalize on the good Corona story that we have, but really also merge it with our real worth. Not our maybe opportunistic worth that it didn't happen to have a big burst here, but really with the worth of the young people coming back. And I completely agree with you, Marie, on that. It has been a rough road, but such a big growth. Of being able to face difficulties and grow through them. These last 5 years that I've been back. 5-6 years, and I think that let it be a beautiful opportunity for more people, but also let the government support that physically and actually and realistically, like invest in education in similar spaces where these synergies happen, because otherwise it's not going to happen by any kind of, like, someone who is living in Northern Europe, a Greek there, he's not going to easily leave all of his lifestyle and the support that he's given if he doesn't see something. I think a lot of people, I don't know if you agree with me, but I think like a lot of people, even with a slight sign of supports and in the good direction, would just come like this.
Yeah, but I think, programs like yours of reskilling people is also a great way of encouraging people to create their job, not just expect things to happen or expect for a government or expect to find a job, but also something that we say, how we need to teach kids how to learn and not what to learn.
Exactly.
I think kind of thing. So we need to reskill people to get people ready to go out there on the job market. And if not find a job, create a job, because
absolutely.
And COVID has come here to change for sure. Things are changing very quickly, and there's a lot of things that we haven't yet seen and yet to discover. And the younger generation that has survived 3 crises, me, they're very creative. They're the hungry ones. They're the
absolutely
who are going to be out there and creating.
And we don't need to disappoint the young generation. Again, Greece has been doing that repetitively for many years, and I think the old paradigm of the typical jobs, as you mentioned, being a lawyer, being an engineer, everything, like that is dead. Go and do your thing. See what are the opportunities and take your risks, and may there be programs to support you. Good funds like Equifund or other things to really hear your idea and support it to grow. So I think this is the way forward, but I think that for that to happen, we need to be activated. And I think a lot of our work, like if I may say, even like maybe 40 to 50% of our training is really about activation, is really about to see you have so many opportunities. Let's look them and see, and in practice, may you feel that you can do it, because once he understands that, then he will find a way. He might not find it in the first month or the third month or in a year, but it's just a matter of time once he starts to fill in the ground. I think, and this is one of my more, let's say, personal outcomes. Like even if everything is gone, like I feel that I could recreate it, and because I know the lessons and each step of the way, all the slaps, and I think this is for me empowerment, and I feel that this is what we want to pass on to the people that we interact with.
Yeah. Jay, thank you very much. It's been great having you with me on the show. Great
Same here.
Great conversation. Thank you all for being with us today. Jay, is there anything you'd like to say before we wrap up?
I'm very thankful first for being here. I think, as we were saying, to close the conversation, let's take risks, let's try more things, let's believe in ourselves, and change will happen, thanks again. And I also hope that all of us re-energize and come back strong in September.
Awesome. Looking forward to seeing you in person in September, right after the holidays. Thank you, everyone.
All the best. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone who's been watching us both on Zoom and Facebook Live. And we look forward in seeing you all back here tomorrow. Tomorrow we have Regina Reinhardt and Jareen Jacobs with Death, Work and Culture. Καλό βράδυ.
Καληνύχτα, παιδιά.